Hello everybody, we are getting close to the end of this God Guide series on our first run through. We've got Xbalanque, which we will be playing in the ADC role. Xbalanque is a hunter, and so we'll be running him over there. He's a very auto attack based hunter. He doesn't work particularly well in the mid lane. So we'll be grabbing a Hunter's Blessing, our tier 1 Spike Gauntlet going into Devo Gloves, 2 health potions, 2 multi-pots, and a beads for in the lane. Xbalanque is definitely a late game hunter, not particularly known for his early game, but his early game clear is better than it used to be, thanks in part to a small buff to his first ability, which is actually a toggle. So at level 1, we are going to grab our bolas, our first ability. This is a toggle, so we can press it on or off our character. And it is going to enhance our auto attacks. Our auto attacks are going to do an extra 10 damage per auto. And they are also going to branch off and hit targets behind what we hit for 35% of our auto damage. So it breaks off, hits 2 more people, and it does 35%. So this is actually our main lane clear. So you can see when we hit 1 creep, it's actually going to go back and hit another creep or even an enemy god. Either way, it works for us. We do have to be careful over here because there Ymir did get the level 2. He's actually probably going to go down right there. Got to be careful on the first wave. Xbalanque does not have great lane clear. It is a lot better than it used to be because they buffed up the damage of those branching bolas. But you still got to be very careful. You're going to get out cleared by most hunters, especially if there's a Ymir partnered up with him. Now keep in mind that this ability does cost mana per shot. At the early levels, this isn't such a big deal. Your Hunter's Blessing is going to out mana sustain, but eventually that mana cost does add up.
Enemy missing middle.
For our second ability, we grab our 3. This is our getaway skill. This is a dash. A lot of people think that it's a leap at one portion of it because of the animation, but it is not. It is strictly a dash. So this does not go over walls or through, say, a Ymir wall. Won't go over that. You dash, you will do damage. You can see this giant animation in the sky because you kind of leap into the air a little bit, but it's not actually a leap. You'll do damage to anybody within range. You will go ahead and shoot them. And you are CC immune at the top of this ability. So when I start my initial dash process, I will dash, and I am not CC immune in that small portion of the dash down below. And then when I get up to the top and I start shooting out my ability, I am CC immune. So you do have to be careful. You can actually get interrupted out of this ability right after you press it if you're not careful. Also, our 3 is going to do an additional 30% damage to targets that are poisoned. Our poison comes from our second ability, which we grab at level 3. This is going to shoot out poison darts in front of us, starting from the right and going to the left. This is going to put a damage over time on target's hit. And it is also going to slow the target. This poison damage does go up as we rank up the ability. The poison slow and the duration does not. It is a 20% slow for 3 seconds. So typically you're going to use this as part of your poke on Xbalanque. You shoot out 10 darts. You can hit an enemy with up to 3 darts. So the way that this ability shoots out is a big giant spread. So you can see all these individual darts come out. If you are close to a target, you can kind of utilize it as like some burst damage because you can hit multiple darts. So instead of just doing that 30 damage per dart, it'll actually be times 3. But it's minus 30% damage on the second and third dart. So it's not quite times 3, but you do get multiple iterations of the damage. But it does only 30%. And then you get this damage, poison damage. This is actually going to proc every 0.5 seconds. for the duration of 3 seconds. So you get some nice damage out from that as well. Right now in the laning phase, all I'm doing is playing it safe. I have absolutely no need to play aggressive on Xbalanque whatsoever. The chances of me getting an early kill on a Ymir and her is really low, unless something really nice like gets set up from our Hercules. I'm just on the farm o'clock game. You gotta be a little bit careful right here. Yeah, unfortunately, Hercules is gonna get put down and I'm gonna have to back up. He's playing very aggressive, which is fine because he's a Hercules, but paired with a Xbalanque, there's just not too much that I can do about it. At level 5, we grabbed our ultimate. Our ultimate on Xbalanque, a lot of people think that it's not super good. In fact, I do believe it's still one of the best hunter team fight abilities in the game. I'm gonna back up right here. I'm just gonna get my full Devo glove stacking. Just be nice and patient. Also grab myself a ward. Xbalanque is going to increase your movement speed for the duration. It is also going to increase your basic attack range, so the actual distance that your autos travel will be increased. And enemies are shrouded in complete darkness. So for 3 seconds, basically, their monitors turn off. It's like you go into their house and you press their monitor power button, and you turn it off for about 3 seconds. This is an extremely good team fight ability. It's extremely good for when ganks are happening because it stops the enemy from literally seeing anything that's happening on their screen. Very, very effective if you utilize it properly. Now, it doesn't do any damage or anything. It used to have a stun on it way back in the day, but that has since been removed. So this is a purely utility ultimate. So right when you're about to engage in a team fight, or right when you want to go for your 1v1 or whatever, that is typically when you're going to use it. This ability does give you assists. So like if I see my team fighting over there in mid and I want to help them out, I'm going to pop this ulti so that way they can't be seen. Conveniently, also the time that Anher went in on me. Oh my goodness, sir, please leave me alone. So I actually blinded him as well when he went in. But if somebody dies right around the time of your ulti, you do actually get an assist for that target, even if they're like over in the mid lane. So you'll get a little bit of that assist gold XP action. Finally, on our passive. Our passive on Xbalanque used to be a really, really snowball type ability. It is a lot less snowball now. So the way that it works is as you do damage, you can see that I've got these stacks Dead of Night being built up. Ooh, I'm going to chase down this Anher. I'm going to use my 3 to try to get in range. Hit the 2 to slow him down to try to land the autos. He's going to be bleeding. And Evo's going to be able to put him down through the wall. So every time that we deal damage out to enemy gods, every 100 damage, basically we're gaining one of these little itty bitty Dead of Night stacks. Eventually, for every 1500 damage dealt, we gain bonus power. So you can see the actual stack right here. Gain 5 power, physical power permanently per stack. If you look over at our little passive icon, you can see this little blue, meaning that I've got 1 out of 6 stacks. So it'll show you where you are along in your stack path. I've got 10 of these, meaning that I need to do 500 more damage. That is post mitigation damage that gets counted up. So it is like the actual damage number. And you'll just get bonus power, and it stacks up to 6 times, meaning you can have up to a bonus of 30 physical power. So at the start of the game, the passive is basically giving you nothing, but by the end of the game, the passive is giving you quite a lot. I'm actually going to start taking this fight. I'm going to pop my beads and my ulti. I popped my ulti when he ultied, so that way he couldn't see where I was in order to hit me with the ulti. We got to be a little careful here. Oh, I'm going to get rotated on by the Ymir and the rest of the team. That's a bummer. He knew he wasn't going to be able to win the 1v1. That's fine. We're going to grab ourselves a Ninja Tabi as our next item. So we've got the Devo gloves getting stacked right up. I actually did get the second stack of my Dead of Night as well. The Ninja Tabi is going to give us some bonus attack speed as well as some mana. We already have a bunch of power built into our kit eventually with our passive. Plus, we have a bunch of extra damage on our auto attacks from our 1. Reminder that our 1 gives us that bonus damage. So we basically got bonus damage on top of bonus damage at the end for our autos, which is really, really nice in the late game. But we do not have any built-in auto attack stim, so we grab the attack speed boot. For our level order, I grab 2 points into my branching bolas in the early stages of the game. This is to help out with my auto damage, which is my main source of clear. Eventually then maxing out the poison darts. If you max out your 1, you're gonna be running out of mana so fast. So if you wanted to max out your 1, that's really more of a mid lane type build. This is how you run around in circles. Heal a little bit, heal a little bit. Okay. Hit him with the dodge. Trying to get out. Not quite gonna be away, but at least we got the Anhur right there. If you max out your 1 first, you're gonna find yourself absolutely out of mana all the time. So you gotta be very careful with that. So 2 points into the 1. Then we max out our poison darts. After I max out my poison darts, now I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna max out my branching bolas as I start to get some other items online. I feel a little bit more comfortable with that. In this game, I'm gonna go right into a 3rd item, kin size, to give me some extra damage and attack speed. Then finally we max out our 4 and then our 3. So that is 2, 1, 4, 3. If you did go Transcendence, you can max out 1, 2, 4, 3. Our 3 is our getaway skill. We don't really want to get in the habit of using this for damage, but all our ultimate gives us is bonus movement speed. Not horrible because it helps us get away or get into a fight. But your 1 and your 2 are much better abilities. As far as Transcendence goes in the duo lane, I just don't like it. I love Transcendence when you're rocking it in the mid lane, but over in the duo lane, it is just so hard to get away with. Got a phantom hit on my auto. I am very dead for that. It's very unfortunate. You can see one of the big problems with Xbalanque and why he doesn't get played very much anymore is because his early game is trash. He's got a great late game, but you have to actually make it to the late game in order for that to matter. Compared to somebody like a Rama, who's got an amazing late game, but he also has awesome early game clear. So he doesn't get pounded into the floor in the early game stages of the game. For our matchups on Xbalanque, as we kind of just talked about, Xbalanque struggles a lot with early game hunters because his early game clear and his early game fight potential is so bad. He struggles a lot against hunters like Anhur, who have the ability to just bruise and go for the fight. So gods like Anhur, Ullr, these are not the type of gods that you want to be going against on Xbalanque because they can put you behind in the early game. And then even though you will outscale them in the late game, a lot of times Smite games right now aren't going longer than that 20 to 25 minute marker, which means you're never gonna get to like that 30-minute late game hunter action where you really turn online on a god like a Xbalanque or an Artemis. That's why you don't see these types of gods played really right now. For gods that you are good against, is basically you're just looking to go against the other late game hunters. So you're looking to go against the Artemises of the world, the AMCs of the world, those other characters that are really just trying to wait for the late game to get everything going for them, where they can really start going to Pound Town. Basically, all of the hunters that you don't see anymore because they take too long to be good. Those are all the hunters that you want to go against because you are in the exact same boat as they are.
Another patriot has fallen.
From a jungle perspective, you have to be careful going against gods that can make walls. So Ymir is pretty annoying against me because I don't have a leap. I only have a dash. The creation of walls is problematic. Thor, same type of thing. Your 3 does make you CC immune, which is nice. At the top of it, I just have to basically commit to this fight. And just go for it. Thank you, Nuwa. No, you're right. I appreciate it. That was going to be a close one. You didn't make it come down to the last auto for me. I appreciate it. So right now, I'm mostly trying to not engage. Hey, look at the wall. Oh my goodness, there's always more. There's always another one. So I'm really trying not to engage on the Anhur. I'm just trying to farm. At the end of the day, if they force the fight on you, you have to go for the fight yourself. It's better than just running away and taking all the damage and having to back anyway. You might as well try to commit to the fight and get some action going. So now we got the Kins. It's going to help us get a little bit more damage out. Plus, we got the extra attack speed from it. So we're going to get out a couple of wards. Maybe see if we can get a little bit of vision on those rotations as they begin to come over. There's not much we can do to get away as a Xbalanque anyway. But at least if we have the vision, we can have a little bit of a heads-up play against it. For our 4th item, I'll be grabbing Atalanta's bow. You can see we've got a theme here of a lot of attack speed. And that's just because we get so much default power in our kit that as long as we have additional attack speed, we're going to be swinging. Now, I'm not going to get crit this game because they've actually got a fairly tanky comp. Ymir support, Osiris solo, Nem jungle. The Nemesis is a kind of a sleeper pick. I mean, she's like literally the best jungler in the game, but I don't mean it like that. I mean it in terms of her tankiness. Because of the shield on her 3, if you build crit, which you normally could build on Xbalanque if they were a squishier team. If you build crit and then she uses her shield and you crit on her shield, you're basically gonna full heal her and you're gonna do a solid bit of damage to yourself. So it's just simply not worth it. Luckily, I'm not that far behind in XP to this Anhur. I'm down about 1,000 gold, but that's to be expected. My big goal right now is not to fall down more than 2 levels behind. As long as I'm not down more than 2 levels, I've always got an opportunity to fight back into them. If I fall down more than 2, that pretty much is gone. That's pretty much a roasty toasty. Gonna pop my ultimate just to try to get Hercules out of here. Not gonna be able to get him out. I'm gonna have to back up. I am out of mana. Ymir could just run right up to me from the jungle, so I'm gonna back all the way to the tier 2 and give him the tier 1 tower. Now we're gonna back up and continue working on this Atalanta's bow.
Your left tower has been...
For the team fights on Xbalanque, what you are looking to do is basically the standard hunter action. You're hitting whatever is in front of you. Your number 1 goal is to basically stay alive so you can continue to auto attack. If you are dead, you are no help to your team. So whatever's in front of me, this game, I presume it's going to be a whole lot of Argus and Ymir and Osiris and Nemesis just kind of coming over and slapping me around. Speaking of getting slapped around, they're about to send an entire team over here. So instead of backing and dying to the Ymir and Anhur, I'm going to actually run up and I'm going to grab this tower. And then I'm just going to try to back right here before anybody comes over and hit him with a little juke. Sometimes the best juke is going more aggressive. This is why we like having vision out, so we can at least have an attempt to make a play like that. For our second act of this game, we did go Aegis. No brainer here. Hera's going to be trying to throw down a bunch of abilities on my head, and her ulti's coming down. I'm obviously going to have a hard time living, so anything that can help me live through all of these abilities that they're going to be chucking out at me.
Freedom!
Not going to be rotating over really to help the team. Not super my job as the ADC until we start getting into the real team fights. Best case scenario for me, I'm finally about even with this Anhurt. He's only got 1 level, so these are probably as good as these fights are ever going to get for me. So I'm just going to try to take this fight into him. He's still got his Impale up. That's his jump down. I'm going to Aegis on this. That's his Aegis down, and I should be able to take that fight. So you can see now that I'm out of the ultra early game, I can actually start to take these engagements more. Because now my autos are really swinging. So as long as I don't get absolutely wrecked by like an Impale right now, I am going to start to transition out of the early game Hunter Xbalanque period and start entering a little bit more into the late game period. We'll really fully transition after about that 25-minute marker. So we're still just kind of crossing our fingers to try and get to that point. I should mention another character you do not want to go against on Xbalanque is a Fenrir. For all the reasons why you don't want to go against Fenrir, his Brutalize will follow you all the way through your dash. That's just how Brutalize works. And he will absolutely wreck your entire game, and you will hate your life. This goes for anybody that uses a dash. So just be aware of that mechanic. Fenrir is also starting to get picked up a lot more after his small recent buff to his ultimate movement speed. Your bonus Bola's damage does work against towers. Oh yeah, they're rotating for the fire giants. I'm just gonna split push left. So if I keep my bolas on, you can see I'm doing 149. If I turn my bolas off, I'm only doing 124. This bonus damage does affect towers. So does that bonus damage that you get from your passive. Team is actually making the smart choice right now. They are going for the fire giant. And so instead of committing to the fire, we are just going for objectives. I'm just going to keep auto-attacking this Phoenix as much as I can. I need these creeps to come over and get in range. We grabbed the mid T2. We're going to be able to grab a left Phoenix off of this. I'm going to pop the ulti for my team so that they can't see where they're going and try to get us all out of here. Not a bad trade at all for us. They grab the fire giant, but we grab a lot of gold from towers on the map. I'm going to steal their purple on my way out, and I'm going to go do our purple. And all of a sudden, I've got myself a much better late game position on this Anhurt. And we can start getting ourselves into the actual team fights now. I got to be careful. Anhurt actually might continue to run down this path to go for my purple, but I already did my purple. All right, as our 5th item, we're going to be grabbing ourselves an oboe here. Same concept as always with our oboe. We have so much power, but on Xbalanque, that power isn't just coming from our build. It is coming from our 1 and our passive. And so we're just going to be grabbing the oboe to help. The 1 damage doesn't actually, this won't like increase your oboe proc because this is auto attack damage, but our passive will increase it because that is, holy cow, because that is actual physical power. Plus, in our team fights, this is going to help give us a little bit more of a presence, especially because I can just like sit here and beat on somebody like Argus and just start getting oboe procs all around. Gonna pop my Aegis and then try to dash towards this middle lane, just get away from everybody that I can. Ultimate is just coming back up, so I'm gonna start popping my ulti, looking for this Hera. She's at 1 HP. Oh my goodness, they're all at 1 HP. This is ridiculous. My branching Bola actually just got me that kill. I'm gonna unproc my 1 because I just don't have enough mana. I want to try to get my enough mana up for a dash. All right, I'm gonna dash at this Osiris. Proc my 1 again just to get as much bonus damage in as I can. I'm not gonna have enough mana up to help out anyway. And we're gonna be able to put him down. 1 Phoenix here, not bad at all, because our team comp is gonna be scaling really well into the late stages of this game. Nuwa, really good late game. Hebo, really good late game. Xbalanque, great late game. Still got like no mana. See if I can't come over and help burn down the last little bit of this Gold Fury. And all of a sudden, things are a lot more even than they were at the start. This is where our team comp is really gonna start finding itself, as we finally got XP and items, which is great. Oboe, just a general good hunter item you should also just be keeping in mind. All right, I'm going to sell my Hunter's Blessing. Take a look at the items that they're building. Nemesis has not opted to go tanky at all. Osiris, a little tanky, but not as tanky as he could be. Hera, going to be pretty squishy. Okay. So instead of getting something with maybe more pen, I'm going to go a little bit more selfish right now. So instead of going...
There's more than you.
Instead of trying to grab something to help me out against tankier targets, I'm going to grab something that is going to help me out against squishier targets and help keep me alive, and that's going to be Aussie. So Aussie is going to give me a little bit of flat pen. Flat pen is relevant throughout the entire game against squishier targets. So like against the Hera, the Nemesis, the Anhur, it's going to help out a lot. Plus, it's going to give me that extra lifesteal. As long as I'm not getting hit by Osiris ulti, which is going to be the 100% anti-heal, then my healing should still be relevant. Both of the left Phoenixes are pushed in. Their left Phoenix is about to respawn. So we're going to head ourselves over to right lane. We are all grouped up. I'm going to keep my bolas off now here at the end of the game until we actually get into a team fight. That way I'm not consuming all of my mana and out of mana before the team fight actually starts.
Your team has destroyed a right enemy tower.
It should be noted that none of Xbalanque's abilities go through walls. Your branching bolas won't hit people behind a wall. Your 2 won't hit people through walls. You can't dash through a wall. Your ultimate, of course, will blind everybody everywhere on the map.
Your team has destroyed a right enemy.
If we can move back towards this fire giant, that would actually be very nice. I'm gonna dash in towards it, pop my ulti. They are blind. They don't know where I am. I'm going to focus on burning down Argus first. Oh my goodness. Argus is so tanky, man. This is actually really awkward for us. We just got to try to get out now. Man, Argus is so good. We got to back up. We got to defend this left lane. I'm going to grab a sentry ward. Finish up the Aussie. We got to get rid of all these creeps over here. They're going to have at least 2 more waves of fire creeps. So they're probably going to get the fire giant again for free. Little bit unfortunate that we couldn't just get a pick on the Hera while her and Ymir were kind of out of position. So
retreat.
At this point, we lost our Nuwa. We just give up the fire giant. They're gonna come shove out for left lane again. They should have 1 more fire wave, but I gotta be careful about dealing with it because they can rotate on me. Back it up. Let's get our Aegis and our beads ranked up. If you wanted to go a later game Transcendent in this build, you could. Say where I got the Oboe. Instead of grabbing the Oboe, you grab the Transcendence there, and then you grab an Oboe as your 6th item instead of the Aussie for the double lifesteal. You've, of course, got some options there. I don't really recommend going into the late game crit. If you're not going to grab the Rage in your first basically 4 items, you've pretty much committed to not going crit. So I just wouldn't recommend it. They're grabbing all of our tier 2s. Throw down some defensive sentries. Double check Ymir's actives. He does have blink. They've got 3 blinks: Osiris, Ymir, and Nemesis. I've got both of my actives up, so we got to be a little careful. I'm just gonna focus on these creeps for now. He popped the thorns. Okay, I'm gonna dash. I'll CC immune that tether right on off me. I'm gonna pop the ulti. I'm just gonna focus down Argus. Argus dies pretty quick to hunters at the end of the game. And putting him down can actually take a lot of the chaos out of your team fight at the end of the game. Unfortunately, they did grab that Phoenix, and it looks like they're going to be running over towards the left Phoenix as well. They don't have any fire creeps, at least. I'm going to grab a red pot here. If we don't start winning these fights right now, there's not going to be a later stage of the game for us to grab a 6th item. So grabbing the red pot for as much damage as I can possibly have right now. No point to save cash if there's going to be no time to spend cash. All these still down for 40 seconds, but I've got my actives up. My first job is going to be try to clear out as many of these minions as I can. If they don't have the backdoor protections, we've got a much better spot. Osiris is going like really in by themselves right now. Unfortunately, we just cannot do any damage to that Osiris. Oh my goodness.
There's more than meets the eye.
Holy healing, Batman. Such Stone of Gaia. Much Stone of Gaia. Be aware that people are starting to build a lot more tanky right now. We're moving into the end of the year, and as is the smite way, tankier compositions are starting to come back in. Pretty common to see 3 people going a hybrid tankier build. A lot of sledges out there in the world because of its stat efficientness. A lot of Stone of Gaias. So if you can get anti-heal, I do recommend it. Hunter's not particularly good at getting anti-heal. Usually more so the mages and assassins' job. You can, of course, get a Toxic Blade if you need to. But Toxic Blade, not one of the better anti-healing items just because it takes so much longer to apply. And it's so single target focused as well compared to like a Divine Ruin, which one mage ability can easily apply to 2, 3, 4 people. They only pushed up 1 Phoenix. That's fine by us. We're just going to keep buying sentry wards. Keep people outside of our base as long as we can. And hope that our damage is going to be enough. The Enhanced Fire Giant is going to be spawning soon. The Enhanced Fire Giant is very strong. The buff that it gives out is huge to the team that grabs it. So you usually want to force the fight over at fire for enhanced if you can. I got to clear out one more mid wave. I'm heading on over. I'm going to throw down a sentry right down here. There it is. Get rid of that ward. Just so I've got a little bit more possibility of actually making it up into this fight. If that grass could literally... Look at that grass. What the... Seriously? Get that grass off my map. Or so help me. We just gotta sit around. There's the Enhanced Fire Giant. We can't let him have it for free. We will need to contest this. Hopefully, we can get them to start it up first. Take some damage, use some abilities. Gotta be careful fighting in the jungle against a Ymir. His wall is so potent in the jungle. Don't want to use my ultimate until the team fight has really started. I want to do my best to not get baited on that front. Osiris coming in pretty hard on the back end. He's taking a lot of damage. That's his Thorns proc. That's fine. We're going to be able to put him down, hopefully. Throwing down the ulti because now the team fight is really broken out. And they're kind of scared. Just getting a bunch of damage on the Nem there in the back line. Holy shield on the Nemesis. Thank the Lord that I do not have crit. Now, because I've got an Aussie, I'm going to go over to this right-hand side. I'm just going to start healing up with my Aussie and my Devo Glove. We're going to heal up a ton over here. And we're going to use our elbow. Bada bing. We don't have to back on a hunter with double life steal. Heading back over into the fight. I'm going to keep my bolas off for now. That is Nemesis's shield. I'm going to be a little aggressive. I'm going to dive in for the damage. We are going to get the kill. I'm just going to auto attack Argus. Try to put him down. There we go. Continue to use my oboe procs over here in the right side. I've got both of my actives up still. My dash up again in 2 seconds. I am moving forward once again. Don't even mind doing this damage onto Ymir. That's totally fine. We got to be a little careful. Osiris is going to be respawning. We're moving a little bit too far forward.
Retreat.
We need to be backing up. This is just too far forward. They're going to have the creeps over in left lane again. Going to grab a sentry ward and my speed potion. I got to go clear out all these creeps in left lane to make sure we don't lose another Phoenix. Between my bolas and the oboe, that'll clean up just fine. Unfortunately, we spent too much time chasing right there. And so they're probably going to be able to just back up and go straight back to the fire. My attack speed is pretty much capped, and Nuwa's not going to be able to make it over to the red in time. So I'm going to try to grab this red and see if I can't get the gold fury as well. Is this going to be up? No, it's not up. Dang.
Check it out.
Unfortunate. Tis a bummer that we don't have the gold fury up over here. All right, well, now we just got to try to defend against the enhanced fire giant. Unfortunately, they all have it. That's going to put us in a really rough spot. I'm going to get rid of my Ninja Tabite, and I'm going to grab myself a Toxic Blade here at the end of the game. Just going to get some anti-heal online. Even though it doesn't look like it, they actually have a decent bit of sustain just through regular items like Lifesteal, like the Devo Gloves Osiris has. The Stone of Gaia, that's giving him a bunch of sustain, stuff like that. In general, you should probably have an anti-heal item in every single build. This is about the least healy as a team can get, and it's also just a good habit to get into. It is never, ever a bad idea to pick up an anti-heal item. Toxic Blade, like I said, not the best anti-heal item in the game, but it's certainly better than nothing. And it's the best option that you have on Xbalanque, because otherwise you're trying to get Brawler's procs on your 2 and your 3, and that is not advisable. Do not recommend it. Now we sit back, chill on our Phoenixes, and wait for the impending Argus assault on our Phoenixes. Best case scenario, Hercules gets a pull on one of their squishies, and we immediately get to put them down. Unfortunately, it was the Oni wave again. These are some unfortunate Oni Gold Fury spawns for us. Very fortunate for them. All right, get that one popped up. They got 4 people over here. They're going to go pretty aggressive. The second they start coming in, I'm throwing down the ulti. The Ymir is just holding down the W key kind of towards me. Osiris ult down. And there's the Thorns. I got to back away. Thorns, of course, you can't really fight into as a hunter no matter what you do. So you just got to kind of reset off it. Hera's not in a great position. That was such a good flipping Ymir wall. Oh, my goodness. I'm going to keep trying to burn down this Argus. I got all my actives up. There's the Nem shield, which for all intents and purposes is just another Thorns. We're losing our right Phoenix
Alas.
to Oni creeps.
At the end.
And all the damage in the world isn't going to be able to save us here. Head over to the right side, just try to burn these creeps as much as I want to defend mid Phoenix. No point to defend a Phoenix if you're going to lose the Titan to a bunch of creeps. Luckily, the Xbalanque clear is actually really nice at the end of the game. I'm just going to look towards Osiris. I know his ultimate is down. I can actually get in range to attack him. No ulti for another 20. I'm trying to keep all the creeps out of the range. I'm just going to pop my beads here because they're going to end the game anyway. This wasn't quite enough. You can see that our damage was coming online there. The later that we got into the game. But it just doesn't matter if you lose the early game to the point where they're getting all the gold furies, they're getting all the fire giants, they're getting all the objectives. Really in a much more early game meta than a late game meta. So at the very end of that game, we sold our boots and we grabbed ourselves a Toxic Blade for the anti-heal. We could have gone with some bigger power items as well, just to throw it right on top. Even if we wanted something like a Transcendence, like we mentioned at the end of the game, just to get more power for the Xbalanque and more mana. But in general, this is the type of dealio you're looking to run, unless you're running the crit build, which will be a more standard like Rage, Wind Demon, Deathbringer type situation. But do not build crit against tanky comps or comps that have a lot of reflex shields like Nemesis and Kuzenbo, and of course Thorns you have to be aware of, guys. And that is our Xbalanque.